What's up? How you doing, everybody? Good to see you again. It's me, back again, Untitled Attack. Welcome, everybody, to part 3 of the sort of hardcore punk vinyl bargain bins, rummaging around in Osaka, 100 yen bins at Revenge Records, Punk and Destroy. I was doing a lot of that earlier this year. I've got a huge stack. I've done 2 episodes where I've showed some of the records. I've got another stack today. They all came from the 100 yen bin, or some a bit cheaper actually, 200 yen, 300 yen. But it's not about the price or the cost, it's about the music. And I think I've got another really great stack of like hardcore punk records that I picked up for cheap. So let's dive in, shall we? Yeah, why not? Let me have a little sip of beer. And off we go. So first of all, got 3 Japanese records here today to start off with. So let's have a look. So the first one is by a band called Dorade. They're a sort of a punk metal band. If you're sort of a fan of Parasite or Gates, bands like that. Military Shadow is another band that people are really into at the moment. So Dorade, kind of been going a while. They've got 3 LPs out. This is a 7-inch single. It's called Dictator. Or the Dictator EP. It's got 2 songs on it. It just comes in this really simple sort of cardboard sleeve, but Japanese metal punk, lovely stuff. Now this is a band I'm a huge fan of, especially their first 2 LPs. They're kind of a super group. You've got Minoru, who came from Lip Cream on the bass, and you've got Butcher, who was the vocalist in Auto from Osaka, and they formed this band called The Coloured Rice Man. And some people don't like it because it's got a saxophone sort of blaring all the way through it. But I've saw this band quite a few times. They're a fantastic live band. I love the records, really powerful. This is their first 7-inch, came out on Bloodsucker Records. So you know, if you've got even a passing interest in Japanese hardcore and Lip Cream and Uto, and you can handle a bit of sax, this is the band for you. The Coloured Rice Men. Lovely stuff. Okay, one more from Japan. Now this is one of those bands, wasn't fancy, really straight ahead, charging Japanese hardcore with sort of ferocious vocals. They put out an LP, a few singles, talking about Liberate. From Tokyo, the vocalist was Kuro, who was originally the vocalist in Acid, who put out 2 LPs on Selfish Records. This doesn't sound like Acid. It's less crusty, it's more straightforward, hard-hitting hardcore punk, but not flashy, not too many flashy guitar solos. It's really kind of more like Advance, that kind of, ballpark, really straightforward. And yeah, this is a great record, recorded at the legendary R House. Came out on Bloodsucker Records, and this is a Japanese hardcore classic that isn't rare and you can still find for cheap. Top-notch recommendation from me, Liberate. Well, that's all the Japanese records I've got for today, so let's move over to the States, and specifically Oakland, California, late 90s. Got 2 singles by a band that I think people really like actually. Both EPs were put out on Prank Records. This is the first one. It's called Straight to Hell. Prank Records, 1998. Really good, straightforward hardcore punk. And then a year later, I think, they put out another EP called Control, also on Prank Records. I think this band might be a little bit forgotten about a bit, but really, they must have been one of the sort of best hardcore bands around at the time in the States, late 90s. Really great band. Talk is Poison. Great stuff. Now, this is a really cool one. Let's have a look at this. It's amazing packaging. So the name of the band is Contra Attack. and they were a political hardcore band from LA. Can you see this okay? Bit of glare. And this EP is called Luchas, Tradias e Historias de Nuestra Gente, and it came out on El Grito Records in 1999. It's got 10 songs on it. It's really, really angry, raw, almost grindy hardcore punk. Absolutely incredible. Look at the packaging. It's got that. Look at this. It's really lovely stuff. 100 yen this was. Unbelievable. It's a classic in my opinion. I'm kind of in the same ballpark. This band's maybe a little more well known. Huasipungo. They are a Latino political punk band. They were from New York City. This is their third EP actually. And it's on Discos San Juanito from Elmhurst, New York. And it's just really raw, angry, ferocious, hardcore punk. This one came out in 1995. Just great stuff. Really great stuff. Now, this next record is a face melter. It's absolute classic. It's a Mexican band. I don't know much about them. They're called Hog. And this was put out on Martin's Lengua Armada Discos. They're from Mexico. Again, look at this packaging. Apparently, they've all got kind of slightly different sleeves. I don't know. It's kind of screen printed. I've got like the insert here with a picture of the band, which obviously isn't actually the band, but this is just real raw Mexican hardcore, the way it was meant to be, like the old school bands. Just absolutely killer record. Hog, Hombre Muerto on Lengua Armada Discos. Classic. You've got to track this one down. It's absolutely fantastic. Staying in the States, Race Against Time. That's one of my favourite GBH songs. I bet they took their name from that. There's also a new wave British heavy metal band called Race Against Time 2. This is an EP. Here we go. Race Against Time. This is an EP called Depths of the Ant-Bed, and they are from Houston, Texas. This is their first single. It was on Burrito Records, which was run by Mr. Bob Srung. Came out in 2004, and it's super fast, pissed, sort of hardcore, snotty hardcore. Pretty good record. Now, Sweden, a crusty grind band, left in ruins, fertilizing the soil. It's the name of the record. It's out on a Putrid Filth conspiracy. But I was sort of looking about a bit on the internet. Apparently, the guy that did this label now does Blood Harvest, which is quite an established death metal label. This is a good record. It's that kind of like crust, grind, hardcore. Came out, out of Sweden. Pretty unique record. Left in ruins, fertilizing the soil. Let's go back to the States. Punch in the Face. You're a hardcore band, hardcore punk band from Chicago. This is kind of a face metal. It's got like 10 songs on it. Here we go. It's another Lengua Armada disc. Great cover art on this one. Don't know much about the band, but it's from Chicago and it came out in 1992. Yeah, great record. Punch in the Face. It's an interesting band. Deadfall, a hardcore punk band from Oakland, San Francisco. This is their third EP actually, and it came out on Tank Crimes. Tank Crimes are doing pretty well for themselves recently. They're a really good label. I love that label. Really sort of diverse roster of bands from like Necrot to Ghoul and all this hardcore punk stuff as well. But Scotty, the sort of owner of Tank Crimes, is in this band. It's a great record, just straightforward hardcore punk. Deadfall came out on Tank Crimes, as I said. Now, next band, I love this band. I love their LPs. Real, like, ferocious, kind of old school crossover, which is really powerful and really catchy. I'm talking about Holier Than Thou with a question mark. This is their first 7-inch, came out on 6 Weeks Records in 2001, and it's just made for I don't know if these guys drink or if they're edgers or not, but it's just made for drinking and skating. I don't skate anymore, I drink, but so good, like old Accused, kind of really just grinding, thrashing, crossover, hardcore punk, killer. Love this band. Love this next band too. I've got their LP, 12-inch. Band's called Chronic Seizure. Also, they were from Chicago. This came out on Fashionable Idiots Records, and straightforward hardcore punk, no metal. It says on the cover, actually, it says kick-ass Chicago punk rock from members of 14 or Fight, Rap Bastards, and the Repos. That's a great single, Chronic Seizure. I think it's their second single, called Brain Sick. Lovely stuff. Now this band is maybe a little bit more well known. Deformed Conscience. They were from Torrington, Connecticut, and they had a few singles out. Kind of bit crusty, bit hardcore. This is a split 7-inch with 3-way Come from Sweden, who are kind of sort of crusty D-beat, who are great band. I hate their name, sorry, but yeah, Deformed Conscience, 3-way Come Records. So American band, a Swedish band, and a French record label, Sludge Records. 2 good bands on a split single. Here's some maybe overlooked D-beat for you out of Sweden, mid-90s, on the sort of great Your Own Jailer Records. The band name doesn't sound like a D-beat band, which I like. There's no diss in the band name. Can you guess what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the Times Square Preachers. Don't Be Numb. This is their second 7-inch. Just really raw D-beat, but with more of like a sort of real punk rock sort of vibe to it as well. I love this record. Came out in 1994. Sticking with Sweden, No Admission. Again, on Crash Mag Records. This is also a great label from Sweden. It's a bit of D-beat, bit of crust. Don't know much about the band. Familiar with the record label, but this is one of those records that you often see in the 100 yen bin, and it's pretty good. If you like crusty D-beat, you might want to check out No Admission. Came out in 1997. There you go. Next, a band that I actually thought was Swedish for some reason. I don't know why. Well, because of the name probably. Autorita. They're from Germany, and this is their second 7-inch. It's on Rodell Records. It's from 1998. This band have done a lot of splits. They've done splits with Agathocles, Totalitar, Uncurbed, Warsaw, Abuso, Sonoro. It's real good, sort of grindy, fast, powerful hardcore. Reminds me a little bit of a band that I can't remember the name of. Sorry, but good band. And yeah, this was, as I said, this was their second 7-inch. Audio Collapse was the name of the band I was thinking of. Do they sound like Audio Collapse? Maybe a little bit, right? But yeah, good band out of Germany. Let's go back to England. Last time we had a little look at a couple of English bands, didn't we? Health Hazard, was it? This is sort of connected with Health Hazard. Going back to Flat Earth Records, this is another Sned band, Suffer, produced by Bride Doom, 1995. So you can kind of guess that it's that super raw, angry, fast hardcore that was going on in the UK at the time on sort of more and more like DIY labels like Flat Earth Records. Suffer, and self-titled EP from 1995. Bride Doom produced. Staying in England, but also mixing up a little bit with Germany. This band Dumbstruck, right? Dumbstruck had Jim Whiteley, ex Napalm Death, and Ripcord, and so many other bands. Baz, and John, also ex Ripcord, so you kind of know what you're getting when I say those names. And then Totos from Bristol on the vocals, and this is actually a split single with the super fast, super fast, kind of almost grinding style hardcore band called Y from Germany, who have a bunch of records out. Really powerful band. Good little split single on Thought Crime Records out of Berlin, Germany. I've got one more band I'm going to talk about today, and I love this band. I cannot pronounce their name very well. It's Kiklupien Sukaputo from Finland, and they sort of describe themselves as a thrashing hardcore band from Tampere, Finland. They formed in 2003, and their aim was to play rapid and restless, catchy, old-fashioned yet experimenting hardcore punk with non-dogmatic political personal lyrics. So this is their second EP, and it's called Helveten Element, and it's on Kammerset Records. This band is hard to describe. It's hardcore punk, but I'm going to use the word progressive here, but it is, they really, all these quick time changes, super energetic. It's not D-beat. There's a little bit of traditional Finnish hardcore in there, but they're really their own thing. They're a totally unique band. I think they're fucking fantastic. I love this band. And I've got another split EP with them here. This one is with a band called Death Token from Denmark, who are also a really good band. This came out in 2007. But I want to point you in the direction of Kiklupien Sukaputo's LP. It's a masterpiece. I beg of you, if you haven't heard it, it's probably on YouTube. I might even put a link down below. It is an absolutely incredible piece of work. It's hardcore punk, but there's so much going on. It's a modern day masterpiece, in my opinion. One of the best hardcore punk records of the last 10 years. Well, that went by quick, didn't it? Hope you had a good time. I did. So I think I'm going to upload this today. People have been saying that they've been enjoying these episodes, so I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to have a little sip of beer. I've got some good guests lined up that are sort of in the pipeline. I hope they come to fruition. And of course I'm going to be continuing the Piece of Maiden series with Chris Corrie, and I'm probably going to do like a bargain bin LPs episode or two as well. Of course, hardcore punk. So until next time, everybody, please stay healthy and stay very clean.